Hello witches, I am High Priestess, or to finish, this is sure to be a little bit of a controversial live broadcast, but I feel like it's a broadcast that needs to be broadcast because a lot of people are missing out on the blessings and the covering and the anointing and the protection and the love and the power of the Queen of Witches, Hecate, because of this question. What is Hecate's racial background? Hecate is normally considered a Greek goddess. So if she is a Greek goddess, that must mean that she is a white woman, right? No. The reason why I bring up this broadcast is because of a comment I read on one of my posts about Hecate early this morning from a black woman who was saying something along the lines of, who I have since blocked. I have already blocked this person who made this comment. Her comment was along the lines of, oh, you should not be worshiping Hecate because she's white and she doesn't care about your black ass. First of all, I'm Native American Cherokee. Okay? Most of the people in my family are Native American Cherokee. The original Americans, all right? Not a lot of people in my family originate from Africa. Okay? That's first and foremost. My comment was, of course, racist, rooted in racism. And I'm thinking to myself, how should I respond to that comment? I could very easily tell her the truth, which is this. And this might be controversial, what I am about to say, but it is true. This is what is said behind closed doors. And what this is that is said behind closed doors is that this is a white man's world. And you had better learn to get along with that white man if you are a person of color, if you want to get along. Your parents should teach you how to survive as a colored person in these United States, or you won't make it. I'm not saying you have to kiss the ass of a white person and, brown nose them or pretend to be fake and phony and pretend to be their friend, but understand that the whites are dominant in this country. And you have to learn to get along with them if you want to get along in life, if you are a person of color. That's the truth. What I've just said right now is what is being said behind closed doors that you never hear about. But I'm exposing it today. That's the truth. That's a harsh truth. You might be saying, I can't believe this high priestess just said that here live, but it's the truth. Now going back to the original purpose of this live broadcast, which is what is Hecate's racial background? Like I said a couple of moments ago, Hecate is seen as a Greek goddess, but she is also the queen of witches, the helper when a witch is at a crossroads in her life. Hecate is also known as the torch bearer. All of these things. But what is Hecate's racial background? Let me tell you what her racial background is. Hecate appears differently for everyone. So how Hecate looks for me may look different for you. For me, Hecate may look like a Native American. If you are white, Hecate may look white. If you are black, Hecate may look black. If you are Asian, Hecate may look Asian. Hecate always appears to the witch in a way that would make them feel comfortable, make them feel safe. So there is no one race for Hecate because Hecate looks different for everyone. Everyone. She has no racial background. That's the answer to that question. What is Hecate's racial background? She has no racial background. Not one, not just one anyway, because Hecate appears differently to every witch. Hecate will appear to you in the race that you are comfortable being in the presence of. I will say that again. Hecate will appear to the witch in the race that the witch feels comfortable being in the presence of. So she can be any race. She may be your race. She may be the opposite of your race. But as long as you are comfortable, that's what matters. That's what matters. As long as you are comfortable and there is no uncomfortableness, you don't feel awkward. You don't feel like you are in danger. You don't feel, a little bit, I don't know if I like this, how she looks. Nobody really knows what Hecate actually looks like because she appears differently for everyone. Honestly, I have always seen Hecate in her true form as the moon in the sky. The moon will be full on October 28th. On October 31st, so when Halloween, the moon will start to wane. But it will still technically, not scientifically, but technically still full. But the start date of the full moon is October 28th. Before it starts to wane, decrease in size on October 31st. So for me, I have always considered Hecate's race, her real background, to be that of the literal moon, the physical moon in the sky. Have you ever been in the presence of the moon and you feel so much closer to your soul or to your spirit? Or you might feel much more intuitive, just in the know? That's Hecate's presence in your life when she is at the height of her power, when it is a full moon. Hecate has no official racial background. She appears to the witch, in which the witch will be most comfortable in the presence of. That's it. That is it. Even though Hecate is normally considered a Greek goddess, okay, so that does not change how she performs in our life. It doesn't change how she brings us witches real significant and permanently positive change through witchcraft. Because every time a witch does witchcraft, Hecate adds her strength to his or her own. Hecate will never do everything for you. Hecate will not just give you whatever you want and you put no effort into it yourself. If you want something, you have to put effort into it. You have to make a real life effort to bring to you what you want, and let Hecate do the hard stuff. You don't have to do the hard stuff. You just have to do some stuff. You just have to do something, anything. Because how often have I said, nothing changes if nothing changes. If you want your spells, rituals, hexes, and curses to work, you have to do something so that Hecate can acknowledge that you're doing something and add her strength to your own. And she will. She will. Hecate is not Jesus when she will test you before she gives you something. She just wants you to do something, anything, to show her that you are committed to what you want. So she can add her strength to your efforts, and she will always add her strength to your efforts no matter what your skin color is. Of course, there is a lot of racism even among witches, and a lot of gatekeeping of what witches can't and can do, or should not do, when in reality, you need to mind your own business. You need to go find some business to mind. Maybe that's why you're not having real significant and permanently positive change in your life because you are worried about what every other witch is doing. Why are you worried about the next witch? Worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. If you worried at least 10 minutes about yourself, you can come up with a solution as to why your life is a crock of shit. And that's real. That's real. Figure out why your life is so shitty. Figure out why your life is so fucked up. Maybe it's because you are so worried about what witch is worshiping which god and which goddess. Or maybe you're mad that the goddess that they are worshiping and honoring is not giving you anything in return. Because you don't know how to honor a god or goddess. You don't know how to worship a god or goddess. That's why that god or goddess does nothing for you. Our goddesses, our gods are not petty and cruel. Our gods, our goddesses are not petty and cruel. They are not. Our gods, our goddesses will give you what you give them. It is called an energy exchange. They will give you the same amount of honor and worship and whatever blessings that you may have asked them to bestow upon you by how you give it to them. There's a lot of gatekeeping in witchcraft. That's a separate conversation, but definitely a conversation that needs to be had because some witches feel the need to bully other witches and tell them what they can and can't do. And then, stalk them on social media and then write posts and post lives about them. Oh, this witch is doing that. Oh, this white girl is using white sage. Yeah, okay, listen. White people can use white sage in witchcraft, especially if that same white person grew that white sage in their garden. Of course, they can use it because it's their garden. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to go to that white person's house and pull up the white sage that they grew? Because you don't know how to grow, right? You don't know how to grow white sage. So what are you going to do? Are you going to go to that white person's house and destroy their bundle of white sage that they grew because you don't like them having white sage because they are white? There is enough white sage to go around. There is. There is. I mean, it's not ownership of Native Americans. And I am Native American myself. So I must be telling you the truth. Anybody can use it. That's gatekeeping to say, oh, that white girl can't use white sage. Yeah, that white girl actually can use white sage. Because what are you going to actually do to stop them? What are you going to do but talk shit? You're not going to do anything but be mad. Put a cape on and become super mad. Who gives a shit? And that's real. There's a lot of gatekeeping in the craft. There is a little bit of racism too with that woman who made that comment to me this morning about, oh, I should not be worshiping and honoring Hecate because she does not, quote, care about my black ass, even though I'm not actually really black. I'm actually very much Native American Cherokee. I am. Most of the people in my family are mostly Native American Cherokee. So that was that comment was totally incorrect. And I did block her. I should have I could not correct that. That's a fight that Hecate can fight. Hecate can deal with her. I don't have to. I don't have to fight my battles. Hecate does. You don't have to fight your battles because Hecate does. When you meet somebody like that, or somebody comes at you like that, comes at you the wrong way, you don't have to take it. But you can hand it over to your chosen God or goddess and let them take care of it. But the answer to this question is, what is Hecate's racial background? Oh, I have a comment here. I am Native American. I'm more lighter in skin tone, but man, I can't stand when people gatekeep either. Adore you, Autumn. Yeah, so just to put this out here, I am broadcasting live, so when this goes live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, just understand that I'm reading comments here that is currently on Instagram Live. I love this comment, though. I love this comment. Thank you for saying that. Thanks for being here. So, moving forward, Hecate race is different for every witch. But if you really want to know, like you really have to know what her race is, look at the moon. Look outside your window. The moon is currently waxing. The moon is currently growing inside. The moon will be full on October 28th. That's how I always pictured Hecate. Now listen, when it comes to me, how does Hecate appear to me? Hecate appears to me as a white woman. I said this before. Hecate can appear as the opposite of your race, or the same as your race. I don't know why, but I feel comfortable with how she looks. And you can be comfortable too. So don't be surprised if you're a white girl and Hecate appears to you as a black girl. That's what she presents herself as to you. That's what she wants you to see her as. And guess what? That's fine. That's fine. But for me personally, Hecate looks like a white woman. To me, personally, when I see her, Hecate looks just like the statues of her. When I see Hecate in the sky, she is the full moon. Full moon is October 28th. About 3 days away from Samhain, the Witch's New Year. The time when the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest, so it's easier to communicate with loved ones and pass that have passed away before us. So when is next week? Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so happy that our largest celebration, our largest holiday is fast approaching. I have always said that I feel like October goes by way too fast. Have anybody else noticed that? How fast October goes by and how slow Christmas goes by? You know what? Christmas goes by so slow because Christmas starts in November. Christmas starts the day after Thanksgiving, known as Black Friday. So you are constantly jumped by Christmas music in the stores. Christmas everywhere, especially if you live in a place like I'm here in New York. If you live in New York, you see Christmas everywhere. You see it, especially in Macy's, especially in the Rockefeller Center, especially on 34th Street, especially on 5th Avenue, especially in Soho. You see Christmas everywhere within the 5 boroughs of New York City. I mean, everywhere, starting November 24th or the day after Thanksgiving. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare to be in New York the day after Thanksgiving because you just see Christmas everywhere. Christmas lasts 2 months, especially in a place like here in New York. Just everywhere. Like, you want to scream. You just want to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge. It's just too much. It's too much. That's why a lot of people like myself who are hardcore fans of Halloween and Samhain tend to stay indoors because it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. Halloween, Samhain, October, Witchtober, the season of the witch goes by way too fast. I wish Halloween was 2 months like Christmas is 2 months. Well, it's not so much Christmas anymore when you get the bill in January. It's not. It's not so jolly, holly, Santa. Who else? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's not so great anymore when you get the bill for all that spending you did in November and December. It's not so fun anymore. It's not like, damn, I paid this much? Damn, this bill is kind of high. This is my bill? I didn't realize I spent so much money. Okay. Didn't realize it. You didn't realize it. Alright. So, I don't know why I started talking about Christmas and Halloween and comparing the two. I don't know why. I don't know why I just started talking about that. But I felt like it was needed. So, Hecate's race is different for every witch that comes into her presence. It's different for every single witch. And there is no place in the craft for racism. There is no place in the craft for gatekeeping. Leave racism to the people who are low intelligence. Leave gatekeeping to the people who are selfish, who are stingy, who are stuck up, who are bougie, who think they should have everything in the world. Leave gatekeeping and racism out of the craft, because Hecate will not bless those two hot messes. The two hot messes is racism and gatekeeping, which will not get the blessing of Hecate, the anointing of Hecate, the protection of Hecate. You will not get it because you're a racist and because you are a gatekeeper. Leave that out of the craft. There is no place here for you. There is no place on this page, on my pages on social media, for racism or gatekeeping. I'm not interested in what you believe I should be worshiping or not worshiping, or how to worship or when to worship. I'm not interested. It's not interesting to me at all. Tell your mother. I don't care. I don't. I really don't. Leave racism, leave gatekeeping out of the craft. If you're hungry for real, significant, and permanently positive change through witchcraft, you can't be a racist. You can't be a gatekeeper. Hecate will not bless those two groups of people. She will not. She will not accept any offerings if you are a racist or a gatekeeper. She doesn't care for your reasons for being racist or being a gatekeeper. You know, people say, oh, well, you know, it's this, woke generation. It's not called being woke. It's called having human decency, which most people don't have, can't have, don't know how to have it, and quite frankly, not worthy of receiving it. Why? Because they are a piece of shit. That's why. And that's real. Harsh, maybe. Crude, a little bit, but 100% true. 100% true. Take what you want and deal with it. Just deal with it. If you want to come under the blessing of Hecate, don't gatekeep. Don't be a racist. Be racist among your family and friends, but don't bring that into the craft, because that is not acceptable at all. At all. We don't want you here. You're not welcome here. I know this person is probably watching me from a sneaky account, but I don't care. It's the truth. That was a really inappropriate comment that woman made to me this morning. Completely inappropriate, completely racist, and like I said in the beginning about white people and about colored people, she needs to write that down and pass it along to her parents, who obviously didn't teach her what I said at the beginning of this broadcast. It's not my fault. I'm not your mother. Your mother should be Hecate. Your mother should be Hecate, the dark mother. Your mother should be Hecate in the spiritual realm, not me. Not me. I'm just a vessel. I'm just a mouthpiece. But I am not your spiritual mother. There is no such thing as a spiritual mother. Your spiritual mother is a goddess. Not me. Not me. So I needed to come on here, tell you some real talk, straighten some people out, give you some real talk. My delivery may have been hard and tough and rough, and maybe a little bit cruel, maybe a little bit mean, but it is 100% the truth. And you need the truth if you are going to have real, significant, and permanently positive change through witchcraft, with Hecate adding her strength to your own. And she always will, if you accept truth, not what you believe to be true. Reprogram your mind. Ask Hecate to renew your mind, to reprogram your mind to accept truth as truth. Not what you want to believe, but truth and nothing but truth. So I had to come on here and deliver this message for many witches that needed to take it in, deal with it, maybe heal from it, accept it, so that they can have a life that is magically blessed. So be sure to share this broadcast, witches, and your stories on your other social media platforms, and be sure to tag me, tag my pages as well, so that I can see it and celebrate with you when you do get your wins. And I do mean when you get your wins and celebrations through the performance of witchcraft. And be sure to tell your fellow witches that there is a high priestess here in the state of New York who is anointed and appointed by the Queen of Witches to guide witches to have real, significant, and permanently positive change through the acts of witchcraft. So thank you, witches, for joining me, and I now release you, witches, into the rest of your evening. Bye, everyone.